morning, good morning. All right, let's jump into it. Put me down here. So, let's look at this. Um, there was a massive sell-off, I guess on futures, and I think for the QQQs it had to do with Tesla. They had earnings yesterday. Y'all, at first I was like, oh, I'm glad I didn't get in the puts because I was looking for puts, but I was like, nah, I think there's earnings. I don't want to mess around. But look at this, nice $10 drop on SPY, IWM here, $2 drop, not too much on IWM, and then on Q, on the tech, we're looking at a yeah, six, two, six, seven, eight, nine, $10 drop, and we're coming into this put level. Um, we kind of reactivated the puts that were in this block over here. But I didn't want to risk it because we also have this buy zone, so we have gone right through it, like this buy gap. And so, but with that being said, we are crossing over the 4-hour put level that we never really quite satisfied these, but this is where fundamentals and um, technical go hand in hand, right? Because earnings came in terribly for Tesla, and so I imagine overall for the cube, it's going to drag it down and stuff. But yeah, if you tell me we're looking for puts, baby, at open, the only thing is QQQ, and the other thing too. All right, let's just be honest. Let's look at it. Let's look at it. The only other thing too is this. This is let's just look at it per class because I want to make sure it's almost like IWM to me in that this buy above cover low level is buy zone. Okay, so right here, I would be interested to see. I'm gonna put an alert here. If we're gonna come down, no, I don't want to do that. I'm gonna do an alert. If we touch this, I feel like we could touch this. Let me see. Alert, and we're gonna title this. Um, oh, this is SPY. Touching, one month, 4 p.m. I thought we were on. Let me just look at something. Okay, all right. Let's just. I normally start on SPY anyways, but yeah. So since we're down here, and I feel like we're free falling, let's look for potential bounce at this for EMA here. Yeah, let's see here. We did open. Looks like we're going to be opening below the 4 and the 8 here on the weekly. We could have a possible retest up to the 8, and then decide if we want more upside. Um, I guess what's going to be a key determinant here is going to be the previous, let's say previous day low, previous month low here. If we reject off of this and go for more downside, then we're looking for re-entry back into, just for now, re-entry into that buy zone for the week. See, today is Thursday. I like how we had that sell off here, but it looks like whoop, we dropped all the way down here. SPY hit 100% click on the 15 minute. I like that. On the 15 minute, that lets me know we did it 100%, which lets me know they're satisfied a little bit, but that 15 minute zone is gonna come into play for me. 4 hour, in terms of buy above, sell below. I like to keep this as a buy above zone. Um, I need to see buy above to do that. We're establishing a bearish uh, block here. 4 hours. So yeah, this is interesting because this right here, I'm gonna just, I'm going to make it a little bit more conservative. I want us to be as safe as possible, but once we cross like over this put right here, there's sellers down here. Once we cross down here, which it kind of lines up with this 200 moving average here on the 4 hour, then we can look for more downside. So that's just being really conservative. On the 1 hour, you can see here that, because I was kind of looking to see why I had this as buy above below, but I like it in terms of like we had these gaps that we just haven't really been able to break out of either way. So even though there's 3 or 4 of them, I like what this means for this being buy above below level. You know, there's consolidation, but and that's crazy because like over, I think it's more than a week. 1, 2, 3, almost 4 days, we've still been staying in this range. That being said, puts got activated here on the 1 hour, and you can see that sellers, sellers got activated here, and that's what they're running off of. And here, this is SPY hitting 15%. Well, I didn't put it for the 1 hour, but let's just go here. Let's see. 1 hour. Yeah, so I feel like if we're gonna try to do anything, we're gonna touch this 4 month EMA before we look for a down. And then here on the 15 minute, we had, I like to see the alerts in that time frame, in the 15 minute time frame, we're in the sell below level. Um, and like it said here, we did hit 100% of that level. The next level to contend with would be the previous week low, where we probably retest this and then try to see no downside. Um, let's go to QQQ. There's a lot going on here. Let me get through it though. Where did I be here? Same thing. I feel like if we're opening below here, um, we can honor this because we would be entering, bouncing off of this EMA, the full EMA here. Same thing here. If we want more downside, we could start to potentially bounce off of this full EMA here. That could be a potential bounce level. This could be another potential. This could be bouncing off of this. Right down there. I mean, what is coming around here? 58. Well, you just never know. Yeah. So safe bet to be right in here. It looks like we're already down here at 694. I don't like this. I don't know why. Is this just overlapping or something? Too much. Yeah, I don't really understand what this is doing here. But if we continue for more downside, we can have a potential bounce off of here. It's not abnormal, even on a lower time frame, for us to want to come down and get in here. I feel like we're still a little too close for that, but yeah, like this is more what I'd be expecting, right? So I'd expect us to be a little bit further out, like even with the higher, lower time frame. Nonetheless, ooh, IWM hit 100% as well. Some key market levels. I'm going to continue to work through. I think I'm going to delete these lower time frame gaps. Personally, yeah, they're at this point not showing up on the 1 day. They might show up on the 4 hour. It's like annoying me a little bit, but let's see if they're not. Okay, so here, if we're down here, the next thing that can come into play is going to be this gap, this 1 day gap. And we might liquidate this right here. If you look at this, we might, I want you to see something here. Yeah, we might sweep that area, and that gap will give you that. So yeah, we had a rejection to the downside here. The area that we're going to contend with is the Tuesday day low. If we break the low here, continue with the downside. That's what's going to, yeah. So we were talking about this, right, earlier. So yeah, we're in this um, 4 hour put level. We're in this sell below level here. We had this block that formed, and then we dropped up a little. We dropped down. Um, Filled orders to the downside here, and we decided we want more downside. We have this gap here, and we have another gap down here as well. The thing that annoys me with how, at some point we'll all move in the same direction and stuff. I feel like the more the collective, but I knew these gaps had to be dealt with. For me, it's just being patient until I get confirmation that we're going in that direction. So yeah. So and then once we come up here into this buy zone again, I know we're so bullish, but when we get back into this area again, it's freaking moving. You know. Yesterday, so we're in the low level. If we continue, oh here we go. For 4 hours, this is what I thought I was looking at. So yeah, we're coming back into the zone where we never really went 100% on the push for the 1 hour. So once we cross over this stop loss, like the very lower stop loss, we're going to start activating push to the downside. And we also have this gap down here below. The only thing with Qs, y'all, be careful is because of the volatility. Um, you know, and especially if you have like a small account, you got to make sure that you're correct. That being said, there's orders here, like this gap. I'm gonna put this here. There's this gap to the upside, and one thing I have learned is kind of like they're just kind of like order blocks. So if we fill up here, and we could bounce right back up. We did engage with it one time, but this was pre and post market. We never really dealt with it during market hours, right? This gap right here. So there's like the way I look at this is like buy orders right here. These are buy orders that never got filled. We jumped up so much, and the only retest we really got was during pre-market hours, but the collective never really got a chance to get in here. So I would just be careful here. I would wait for some type of confirmation down here that we want more downside. And then because you don't want to get caught in some type of a snapback in here. That's how I would play it. And that's the way I like it. I would have liked to see a 15-minute setup on QQQ. Let's see, same like what we're seeing on SPY, but that's okay. Oh, should I take? Yeah, I'm gonna take a little break. And then we're gonna finish out with that. We haven't looked at the news yet either. Let's see here. Now let's look at this. We're going into the 4 hour. And I think, yeah, here this got invalid. Oh no, it's still valid. But it's kind of invalidating this call zone here. I'm going to keep it because I feel like once we come back into this level, we're going to have that break to the upside. On the daily, yeah, we opened above the VWAP, but we're going to be opening under VWAP. So there might be a possible attempt to like retest this before we get more downside. We're also contending with these 4 hour levels. I would just be cautious. I would say if we can break below here, then we can look for more puts. And the other thing we can look for, let me just do something here real quick. I want to look at something. We have not looked at the news yet. Because I wanted to just jump right in. That's not going to be the best habit, best practice moving forward. Okay. This stuff we did already kind of deal with. Interesting. Oh, this is on IWM. I'm going to extend it. I'm going to see how we're doing. so good last night. We took it. So let's extend it. I feel like we already dealt with it, but I feel like these are key levels to kind of just watch for. The other thing to watch for here is once you cross right into this 50% level of this gap, if we break below this, which lines up with this lower half, y'all talk about how if we stay in this lower half and break to the downside, then we can look for push. Let me see if I can name the 50% downside. This is off of the 4 hour. Okay, so PVC stays below here. And I think I want on this one, I want the to the right. And the one, oh yeah, to see how far out it is. It's like going into next. On the 1 hour, we're always kind of entering, like, you might have a little bit of bounce around these levels here. I have to put that line in. Oh, Lord. Help me. Oh, wait. Okay. I'm not sure why I put that line there, but I'm thinking it might have to do, oh, it might be a previous line. 300? It's 300. Oh, yeah, 300% is up there. I'm gonna delete it. If I need it, again, I will look at. We get into the daily. Yeah, we had a lot of buys here, but we broke below here. Kind of went over this. I extended that gap just to see, we can pick up orders here. This is a bullish zone from that gap that was there, so we might pick up a couple more orders before we get more upside. And then, other than that, there's nothing else really down there for us to look at. Nothing even stay here. Let's go down to the 30 minute, 15 minute pre-market. They already hit their 100% level. Like to see it. And that's where we are. Let's look at the news really quick. I did look at the news yesterday. That's probably part of the reason why I didn't start us off with that. But I was a little bit chit-chatty because we had a lot of sell-off pre-market. But Thursday we have initial jobless claims at 5:30 and Chicago Federal National Activity Index. Chicago national activity came in way lower. It was forecast at 0.14 and it came in at negative 0.02. And then for initial jobless claims, they also that fell. So, but that should be good news, right? Jobless claims. So it was forecast at 210, it came in at 187. And then continuing jobless claims came in slightly lower than what was forecast before. And then we don't have any more data for the rest of the day. But let me just show you real quick, and then we're going to take like a little bit of a breather. This is what it's looking like on the 1 hour across the board. Okay, this is what it's looking like. We just had a huge sell-off. It's pretty dramatic on the big screen here. Yeah. And shorts are shortened. Oh, good. All right, I already know what I have to do. I'm gonna go here with my little and I will be right back. Okay, so let me put music on for you guys. Wait a minute, today's Wednesday or Thursday, y'all? No, today's Thursday. Wait a minute. Yeah, today's Thursday. All right, I just wanted to make sure because I was looking at my week, my monthly, my yearly calendar, and I noticed that the last Tuesday and this Tuesday I didn't do too good. So I'm just gonna check myself a little bit for what I can do to improve that. Thursdays are okay. I think what's gonna be important here is we're gonna feel a little bit of FOMO. But if we can wait for a 3 minute confirmation, um, a confirmation for more downside, I know it's going to be tempting to want to get into puts right away, but you have to think of it in terms of like people who got in puts are going to be taking profit, and so there should be a healthy pullback. Um, let's see here, especially when we hit 300% here. QQQ might give you a 15 minute. You guys know how I feel about the 15 minute. It's a little bit, eh, that pullback when it triggers and then waiting for lower time frame confirmation. But who knows? I mean, let's just. One of the things I'm trying to say is practice risk management. I'm not going to promise that I'm not going to try to jump into something. If I see like a higher time frame alert go off for downside, I'm going to try to get into a base hit. The thing with Robinhood is that um, IWM will be the safest bet for puts. Let's look at what's happening for open interest here. I would be careful with QQQ. Absolutely wait for confirmation once you cross over here. This one is a little bit safer for puts, I feel like. But again, you're going to be paying a high price, and you don't want to jump in and get your theta crush, especially in those first 5 minutes on QQQ. All right, market is open. There we go. We got that pullback. Pop in quickly. Um, I like that pullback that we had on IWM. We rejected off of the 8, off the 4. 5 continuing to the downside. QQQ is selling off. It just crossed over that 4-hour threshold. Let me look into QQQ. Oh, y'all. Let me look at QQQ. I just want to see what. Yeah, I'm not willing to spend that much. But remember, there's stop losses here, so we want to wait for some type of confirmation below here. Here we're getting an early take profit at 300%. The one that still has more downside to it 300% is going to be IWM. But right now it's testing the stop losses. It's going to retouch the 8 and possibly the VWAP. And then once we start to see confirmations more downside here, again, these are stop loss areas, and I put it at the very lowest possible. It's definitely paying off to wait for those first 5 minutes. Like I said, you have to think about the psychology in terms of like people got into puts way up here and they're just taking profit. You have a lot of orders that weren't filled here, that you know you have to kind of retest and pick up some more bears. See how we didn't have a candle close low here, so same thing. We had possible 4-hour puts here and 4-hour puts here, but we need to wait for some type of confirmation and time frame to set up the low here for us. IWM is going into this bearish block here. So let's just see how it reacts to this. If it continues to come back down, then, and this is also within a 1-hour put area here too. And also, I want to remind you, this is a 1-day buy zone on IWM. So sometimes people can do this as like an ideal buy level. So if we were to be patient, let's just be patient. We're gonna get at least one good play. Um, I was talking about how this could be a potential bounce area here if you want more downside on a higher time frame. We're gonna try to touch um, the CMA. Let me show you. Yeah. Let me show you on the 1 hour on 15 minutes. Anytime we open, like, yeah. So let's just see how it engages with this VWAP here. Okay. Let's just see how it engages with this because it's gonna want to touch it. And then we might get a little bit more downside. Other than that, we might try to touch the 4 and then the 8. And that's the only thing with these sell-offs. You gotta, they're gonna be looking for like where they can retest the level. I am bearish, especially on QQQ, but the thing is you gotta be so patient and you do not want to be long because your theta can get chewed all the way up. I apologize. Not throat, but you have a nice rejection here off of the 4 on QQQ, but I feel like we might want to at least touch VWAP or the 8. And remember, QQQ was the only one to market that didn't give us a 15-minute alert to the downside. And IWM and SPY also hit 100%, which at that point to me kind of invalidates that pre-market entry. But it also, I think that this one definitely came up down to 300%. This one still had a little bit more downside before it hit the 100%. So here we're just watching on the 1 hour on SPY what it does with the VWAP. Here, I think it'll be kind of like a rubber ceiling. So it's going to start to get exhausted. And okay, give yourself a star here for waiting for those 5 minutes. And I just want you to kind of like reaffirm with yourself um, that it was okay to wait the first 5 minutes, right? You haven't missed out on anything or just waiting for the institutions to do what they need to do, especially on a day like this. You know, can you think about how many people, including our older versions of ourselves, that have tried to jump in the puts? Let me show you. And then we would have gotten smoked and then trying to hold on and stuff like that. So on the QQQ, we're coming back up into this block where we have bears that are waiting for us to, retest. And so I like how we're selling off of that VWAP right there. I like that. I like it. I like how I'm going to mark this because this is going to be a key level. This is going to be a key level for us to break out of on the lower time frame. Yeah, right now we're coming back up into that block, but this is a 1 hour block. 1 hour sell block. So if we can break the low here, it's it's a it's like a C. I'd give it a C. But once we come back into this level here, you can start loading up on some puts lightly, and then once we cross over here, get into some more puts. But right now, they're just looking, let's make it plain as this. They're looking for some more bears up here. Let's see how they react to this VWAP. They had a nice sell-off when they first touched it. That's what I would have liked to see with IWM over here. Um, like I said, I just think of it like a rubber ceiling. So here we have another level that we potentially want to retest before we get confirmation for downside. I'm not surprised that we have, we're coming up into this bearish area. This is a one-day buying block, so just keep that in mind. IWM absolutely can continue to the upside. Right? We're just going to be patient. And I think what's interesting, like even yesterday, are there people who made money off of this? Yeah. I just haven't been able to identify what, but I want to stick to one strategy, but I am kind of curious. I am kind of curious as to, short of it being like, massive sell-off to the market, that there's going to be buys and stuff, but hey, look at this. On IWM, they're picking up hell orders into this bearish block here. It's overlapping with the 1 day. Looks like they're touching the 4 right now. I like how we're selling off here. This is what I would have liked to see SPY do in terms of how quickly and strongly she's rejecting that VWAP right there. But again, just a rubber ceiling. We might get a little bit more of a push up into this area. And then decide we want more downside. The only other thing too is that, see how we're picking up bears right here? It's kind of a joke. And there's bears up here. So they're picking up orders from bears here. And then once we release here, you know, we'll have more downsides. And so SPY really should at least touch here and pick up some bears here. Just, you know, let's just be patient. I wouldn't be looking for calls. I'm saying that because like here, we're about to invalidate this. The one that would be the safest for calls is probably IWM because this is a 1 day um, buying block here. Um, and we might be trying to fill this little gap up here. But for the most part, I'm not looking for any type of calls. And the reason I'm saying that is because on the lower time frames, you might, okay, I like how we're rejecting this 8 here. Rubber sealing on 4 EMA, but we're rejecting this pretty nicely, I think, considering the situation. And then, let's see here. Should have a little bit more of a push to the 15-minute VWAP there. I know yesterday I was kind of bearish and we got calls, especially on QQQ and SPY to the upside, and they played out beautifully. And I just didn't get into the high bias, but the setup was obviously there. So that's just something I have to deal with. Like, you know, we had everything we would want in confirmation, but I was just bearish, so I was like, I'm not getting in calls. But in terms of the strongest possibility for calls, especially on the lower time frames where it starts to set up here, like, you know, I would say, so let's see if it invalidates. So that's the first invalidation of the put zone. But we still gotta wait for candle close because it might drop right back into this. And let me show you again what I'm looking at on SPY. Like, you don't want to be in any type of calls in here. You have some people that might risk it and, you know, try to push until we get touch this 8 EMA or even VWAP, or even the top of this zone here, the same way that they did with IWM, you know, where they just bought right back up to the top of that block. I mean, that's something that we can look for, but I don't have a strategy to kind of like test that or prove that theory. But that's you know, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody was like, hey, that look at this. Oh wow, look at this. We're bouncing off of that 200 EMA. I think that I absolutely did not account for that, but yes. And so then here you see that we have some calls to the upside. Wow, okay. Totally. Let's look at the 4 hour here. I think, let me look at something here. Wow, kind of overlooked that on the 4 hour. I mean, on IWM. But that wasn't really an issue here on QQQ. We did open above QQQ here. And so we're having that snapback or that rubber floor, or it's like a bounce, and then we're bouncing back up off of that. Let's see. And then here, let me just take this out. Okay, that's fair. That is entirely fair. We're bouncing off of this 200 moving average. That's what's up. Okay. So I just need to calibrate my brain around that just a little bit. And this is how I got exactly where I'm at. I'm always curious, like, why is it bouncing at a certain level? Very interesting. And that was before these two on IWM and SPY, not so much on QQQ, but that can really help us too, where we are in relation to the 4 hour at market open. So we opened here, somewhere around here, and then, yeah, it would have had to be open here. Oh, here we go, here we go, here we go. Five, um, now five did open. Oh, give yourself another star here. We did open above VWAP, and we did open above the 8 here, and we did open above the 4. But that being said, if we start to break below these levels right here, we have a prep to the downside here. We might test these levels to the downside. The only thing I don't like, if I'm just gonna call it, I don't like that we opened above VWAP here. I don't like it. So what can possibly happen is we're just going to pick up some more bears here and then have more downside. Okay. Here, we're not quite hitting the, yeah, same thing too, opened above the VWAP. But this one might give you a 15-minute downside. We have cut to the downside here. We're buying up off of this stop loss level and off of VWAP here. We, on IWM, same thing. I'm not the biggest fan that we opened above VWAP here, but if we break below here, this is still a one-day buying zone, so I'm just going to be cautious. We also have a little gap here, but once we start to break below here, and then for me, just to be safe, I want to see us start to have some candle closes below here. Then I would look for some put re-entry on puts. Let me show you what I'm looking at. We have sell-off on all three ETFs. Let me show you what I'm looking at here on the 1 hour. So we are already starting to mark levels, but for me, I feel like if we can get, let's see, like below here, we can get below here. I'm just making this in there because I want to delete it tomorrow and stuff, but I need to know what the level is. So if we can get below here, I used to do it to the body, but it's an OCD thing versus a technical thing. If we can break below here, it's a little bit further down now. We are crossing the stop losses to put. This can be a buy zone right here too. So let's just wait a little bit more. Because we want to break below the previous lows. It could be a little bit of a bounce here. Could be a little bit of a bounce there. We have sell off on all three, although QQQ is maintaining its ground. Yeah, so let's just watch and see what it does with this here, because this is a bounce level. And we did have some buyers stepping, so this could be a retest of buys if you were too low. And IWM, well, no, QQQ has, let me show you what I'm looking at here on the 1 hour. Yeah, I did mark it. Okay. Yeah, I want us to break below here before I even start to put QQQ. I feel like this one has a safer entry for me as opposed to this one because this previously below I'm kind of treating it like a bounce level. But if we can start to get breaks below here on QQQ, I feel like I'd be getting. Open interest is there. This IWM must absolutely start to open below here. If you want something that's a little bit, absolutely must break below here before you look for more downside. Um, we're buying up off of this level, so just be careful. You don't want to front run anything, especially like how we opened up here. This is kind of like a bounce, so it can snap back. But we want to get some more sellers stepping out of that when we break below this level. We're just waiting because it's buying up this level right now. Still buying up this level. Let's just wait. We're getting a little bit of a sell off. What are we doing now, I'm going to try some puts. And I'm just going to go for a base hit. I'm going to check this some market orders. You might have a little bit of buyer step in here because remember this is stop loss in 4 hours. We have sell off on IWM. A little bit of a trampoline effect here on the 4. Shortening. I'm hoping for a little bit more return. We are approaching the top of the hour too, which there be a pullback. Ooh, I don't like that. I see that buyers are stepping in aggressively here. Let's see if we start to have candle closes with buying here below QQQ low. We did not wait for a candle close below here. That would have been ideal. They can feel FOMO-ish, I'm not gonna lie, you know. But we did open below VWAP here, and kind of did front run it a little bit. You have buyers stepping in here off of these stop losses, and you have that bounce on here where it can try to recover back up to here. Let's look at the 15-minute and see if I've made a grade mistake. Yeah, we did open above here. Yeah, I forced it. I did force it. I think what's making me want to hold on to puts a little bit, I'm gonna, we're 6 minutes out from the top of the hour, but let me show you, this is where I'm probably gonna be the definitely. we're still in this bearish zone. And so I'm gonna want to see if we can open. This is gonna cue me up. Oh my goodness, you guys. We have strong buy off on all three. I just a risk management here. I basically bought at the bottom. I bought right here. And QQQ, you already know how it does with the contract and stuff. But in 5 minutes, we have a candle close. And so if we have a candle close below VWAP, this is not a good area to buy in. I could have waited for that 5 minute close to close down here. I figured since we were going from the 15 minute, if I, but I kind of, these mistakes are costing me. We have strong buyers on all of them. And I did talk about how if that candle opens above the VWAP, I'm going to have to take a chance. It's going to want to retrace to that. This is kind of getting that it wants to bounce, right? Oh, girl, we need some bears to step in here. We done came and picked you guys up, okay? We scooped you guys up. We need you guys to get activated. Bears unite. Ah. And I do have problems taking L's. I'm not gonna. So like, I will hold on to the dead because I don't want to be wrong. Don't do what I do. Do not do what I do. This one, a little bit cautious because this could be a bounce and these two mirror each other. So we could bounce right off of these here. First, I want to see sell off. So we have buyers on IWM. IWM tends to do its own thing, but I don't like how it opened above VWAP here. So the next 2-3 minutes, you're going to see if it opens below VWAP, then you might get confirmation to the downside. I'll let you guys know when I'm back at break even. I am in push in QQQ. You guys know when I'm at break even. So we're here. I'm at break even. And then the next key level, like I do expect some type of a bounce at this 4 hour because it's going to be stop losses. Just kind of like thinking that we've experienced here. I am bearish on this one just because we're coming out of that 1 hour block. On the 1 hour. So if we can close below here, if we can close below here on the 1 hour, then we can, I feel like we can expect a little bit more push now. Try to get out here somewhere, but I'm holding still. Might have cost me. Alright, I'm just gonna get out. Okay. So I can decide if I'm done for today. I think that it's a non-E, meaning that I didn't get in on confirmation. So I am going to ding myself a little bit. But if we want to be patient at this point and wait for a E, meaning an entry, with the signal, and we're trading with the signal. And I am keeping track too of how much I make, and then like when I start to get back profit, so I'm just gonna keep an eye on that. Sometimes like when I make a smaller amount, it's tempting to go back in there. So here, even though it says put below, it kind of can be buy zone. So that's why it's so important for us to do the weights. If we get like start to get candle closes below here, that's going to be good, especially on the 1 hour time frame for QQQ. But again, you can have buyers step right back in here because this is a stop loss before we decide if we want to there's bears down here. So it's the same thing here. You see that they're trying to turn this into support. Okay. IWM, let's see if anything fires. Oh, we got, did we get, no. Oh, QQQ we got put entry. So I think I'm going to try and put on QQQ. And then the way I'm going to play it is I'm going to look for something at 690. Yeah, that's going to be good. Look for something at 690. I'm just waiting for a little bit of a, I'm waiting for a little bit of a pullback here. Super proud of myself. I know the 15 minute, 15 minutes I'd be gentler to you on SPY. On the 15 minute, we're going to wait for a lower time frame confirmation to the downside, right? So I hope that you were able to be, there we go. And so we want to wait for that nice, strong wick rejection right here. I like it. And then, there we go, we have that. Ooh, good lord. Okay. We have that nice rejection off of the 4. We're rejecting off of the 4-hour sell area. And then the key here is going to be for us so we can hold if you're going to scale in. As long as we stay up below this 4 EMA. I'm just going to wait for a little bit more to push down. Okay, we're now below. We are now below the stop loss. And I got in. I always write down. I always write down. No, not that. I always write down what I, because sometimes, when you're trading like that, so I like that we're staying below the stop losses here. I like that we also had SPY put entry, so these two work side by side. Um, they're definitely seen today. We're just on the verge of coming into this 4-hour put zone here. I'm going to show you what's happening here on the 1 hour. So ideally we want to break the low here. This was that stop loss. Ooh. And we did know that the 15 minute can be a little volatile. We could have probably waited for another 5 minutes. We do have some volatility going on here. Be prepared to get out. I would say when you touch right around here, you can have more, as if we didn't already have buyers stepping in here, but we can have more buyers step in here. We do have, this is the 1 hour sell area right here. If you want to wait for lower time frame confirmation, I did like how we opened the low VWAP here on IWM, but this is still a 1 day buying zone here. I like how these two are spinning. We're somehow, I was going to say staying below the put levels. Let me show you how it looks on the 1 hour. You might want to touch VWAP again. So Came back in there, got some bears. I like how we sold off and we came into that zone. I like that. And so the way that we can look at this with the 15-minute is that as long as we stay below the 4, I know it's like a little bit of a longer play, but as long as we stay below here, we can stay in the, some people go by percentages, which is a little trickier to do, especially with QQQ. 15-minute is a little tricky. Let's look at the 5-minute because I think I want to make sure I get in the habit of like waiting for, especially with the 15-minute, waiting for those lower time frame confirmations for the 1 hour. I would have liked to see a stronger rejection here at B-Block on QQQ. Also, I would have liked to see a little bit stronger rejection here. This is a 1 hour sell block here. Oh yeah, this is the bottom of that sell area. We had already contended with the 4 here. Here, you want to practice your risk management if you have committed to having a certain stop loss amount. You want to respect that. I like how we opened below these, we were starting to push below these stop loss areas. And that's what gave me entry, but I think just best practice. It's so easy to want to jump in, but I'm just gonna journal to myself, like the same way how I reward myself for waiting 5 minutes and 15 minutes. I think that with the 15-minute, it's okay to say wait for lower time frames. Just like regulate my nervous system because you can feel FOMO, especially like if we had, we saw all this sell off to market and we are feeling bearish. The 15-minute is for a much longer time frame, hold and stuff like that. And I'm used to smaller base hits that are immediate. So the 15-minute leads is testing my patience. I like how we're selling off here after the previous week low on SPY. I really like how sellers stepped in here. Let me show you how it was on the 1 hour. I would like to see a little bit more sell off in IWM, but IWM is being a present right now. So I like how we're back down below this level here in the 1 hour. I like how we're starting off with the B-block in the 4. I will let you guys know when I'm back at break even. Oh, I love this sell-off. So we're reactivating again the 15-minute put thing. Let's turn that break even. I'm going to go ahead and take there. Take exit. The reason is because 50% we always have a pullback, and also we are reactivating here. Just practice a stop loss, but this, you can have people try to liquidate you here. If we can get confirmation below here, then we can look for more downside. I'm gonna look at my P&L. I feel like I'm done trading for today. Yeah, I'm done trading for today. I have met my daily quota. Thank you, Lord. Let me see how much I made on that lot. And I did it on cues. I'm learning not to be afraid. Like, I think that I always try to make sure I'm not operating out of fear. Meaning, like, I'll get burnt on the cues, and if you be like, oh, you're not going to trade it. No, I just know that I need to be extra precise with the cues, you know? And so what does it mean to be that precise and stuff like that? You might get a little bit more confirmation here. If you can stomach it and wait for a 2 to 5 minute, let me see. Yeah, so I'm back on the 5 minute, but if you can start to, we're rejecting beautifully here off of the 8. So as long as you stay below the 8 on the 5 minute, you can ride that puppy down. Okay. You always have a reversal at 50%, and this is always tends to be like a buy-in level too, even though it is for push, it's like stop losses. So you're getting people testing stop losses here. So we see the same thing here. Here. So, ooh, you see what this is. QQQ, oh wow. You can really wow, I gotta see. And accredited investor. Oh, accredited investor. Yep, yep, yep. I wonder what that means. I'm intentionally kind of looking away from my, so I am intentionally looking away from the screen because I don't have too much anxiety around it. But let me show you what I'm looking at here. Um, I like how we're holding below here, and then um, would possibly be entertained if you get some solid, you know, candle breaks below the level here. We took it for 1 hour on SPY. Because we all know, see, so SPY is staying with beautiful rejection here off of the VWAP, and we want it to stay below here for put. And I would say if we can come back down here, they're picking up some more bears here. And they made the same way, let me show you something. Let me show you something. The same way, look. Beautiful rejection here off of the VWAP and the 8. I love that. I absolutely love that. I feel like the next candle close, we can close below here on IW on SPY. You can look for some more push. On here, um, let me show you what I was looking at. So on the 15 minute, yeah, this is what I was looking for. So the same thing that's happening here on the 15 minute where we're rejecting VWAP and the 8 is kind of what you'd want to expect on here. So we could potentially, if we stayed above here, try to touch the 8 and then come back down. That's the only thing I'm trying to be cautious for. But if we can close that candle below these stop losses and below here in the next minute or so, then you could tentatively. I don't like how buyers are stepping in here off of this 4 hour zone. I want to see like candle close below here. Um, IWM is doing what it needs to do. This is at the very bottom of the buy level, or 1 day buy level. So IWM has just been doing its own thing. It's just been doing its own thing. I don't like how it opened above the Z-top here on the 15 minute. All right, but here it's going to give you what you want on going to give you what you want on SPY. Key level for me would be the first open below here on QQQ. It was going to give it to you. It's going to give it to ya. I like it. I like it for both of these. There we go. I don't want to jump into any more trades. I don't like how it's kind of like so volatile. Um, I already took my 2 trades, and for how skittish it is right now, I just don't want to dig in that energy. But if you're looking at probabilities, it opened below here, which is a key level. It opened below these stop losses, and so they're gonna want to hit at least 100%. We always have a pullback at 50%. It doesn't matter. Sometimes it will go right through, but the safe thing to do is when we hit 50%, take a profit on that first touch, and then let's just see what's happening. IWM, yeah, both of them have just rejected before. Keep buying. This is the thing, like they're testing stop losses for the 4 hour, but if you get below here, the 4 hour push, and start to establish dominance down there, you have IWM buying up the space. So you have a little bit of divergence. But I feel like these two tend to twin. The twin count at the present is absolutely doing its own thing. But I feel like this, they're going to try to at least hit 100% at a minimum. And this is just going to be a matter of being patient. With the 15-minute, it takes a little bit of time to play out. Um, and I know that. On the last 15 minutes, it gave us like the last 6 minutes of the 15-minute time frame. It gave us that 50%. Um, but I do like that we did open below here. So we're testing new levels, right? I think what I'm cautious about is that it's going to want to touch VWAP or this way up here. That's the only thing I'm being cautious of. I want to wait for another confirmation for downside because I feel like all of us are trying to gun for this gap down here. And so you just have to be patient because they're using this against us, like in terms of liquidation. But if you can be patient, I'm so proud of myself, and I thank God too. Okay, but I took 2 QQQ trades. Both of them gave me zero. Like, y'all. Okay. Don't talk to me crazy each day, because let me tell you that I'm going to. Oh, we are approaching 1 hour from market open. I love the sell-off here. I think we did a beautiful rejection off of this floor. Only thing to just kind of watch is that they might want to touch that either that or that VWAP. Retest is previously low. So just, everybody practice your risk management. I touched mine for today. These two are so twinning. But looks like they're going to try to smash through this 4 hour and then establish this dominance below here, and then we can have more downside. Just let me pay attention to that. And then the rule of thumb would be that as long as you're below, for me, it's a little bit more conservative. Like some people will write this down as long as you stay below the 8 or below the VWAP. For me, would be looking at staying as long as you stay below this 8. I mean, below this 4, just put the thinking here. They're very much tuning. IWM is being present. It's picking up orders here. Again, I remind you, this is a one-day buying block that has been consistently, we've been just buying the top and bottoms of this. And so IWM, and this is one of the reasons I'm so glad, like I started learning how to trade across all three, is because I would, if you talk about forcing trades, like I would try to force a trade here to get my daily bread kind of a thing. And you can see that this is not the best, very low probability. It's a one day buy zone. Um, other ETFs are bearish. And so you don't really want to entertain anything below here. I've seen it, like, see how we came below this one day buy zone and we just bought it right back up? You don't want to get caught up in this area here. That being said, let's just see what's going on here. Let's see if we're building a base on the lower time frame. We're continuing to stay below the 8, so that looks good on the 5 minute. As soon as I said that, I like seeing people. Look at how we're buying up off of this level now. This level right here, 624. Let me look at it on this thing. 624. Oh yeah. Let me show you. Let me show you the wickedness. See, so this I have marked as a level, so we're buying up off of this level. I did talk about how I really would want to wait until we get to the bottom of this. We do have previous week low here, which we can want to try to buy up that zone. Right now we're going back into the zoo and trying to pick up some more bears. Like, do you see what they're doing to me? We're trying to get us so they can pick a couple more bears here. I would like to see a little bit more sell off. Now, SPY does trouble me a little bit, and you can kind of tell. Sometimes I'll just be really stuck on a ticker, like enamored with it when I have no business looking at it, but I am intentionally kind of just focusing on this because it's giving the best setup. This one I am worried in the sense of like, for how it's wanting to shoot up. See how at least we're picking up bears here, and we're getting some buyers to be like, come help us kick their ass. Over here, like it's so far away. That being said, we do have nice resistance from the VWAP that we keep selling off of. But if they try to break up and try to pick up some bears here, and then this area was just so choppy, that's kind of what I'm looking for. But I love how we're selling off again here. We got bears selling it, stepping in off of this VWAP. I don't even really see what's going on with IWM. Again, out of all the three of them, I would say IWM is like a C or D setup. This is a one-day buying zone. Here, and then we have prep to the upside already. With the crossovers of the EMAs. And it's not, I don't, I like how we're starting off again off of this VWAP. We're driving the 8 down and the 4 down. We need to have buyers come back and sell below the body of this here. We do have buyers. This is like all buy levels here, like that wick. But for the most part, there we go. I love that push. There we go. What time is it? Oh, we're okay. Let's look at the 5 minute and see. If we get, let's see where that 5 minute opens. If that these are stop losses right here. But if we can get a nice 5 minutes below here, Okay, let's see what happens in the next 18 seconds. So on the 1 hour, same thing. We want to see if we can hold below here. We had a beautiful sell-off. They try to touch that 8, and that's the thing. Like QQQ SPY, one thing I learned is they have they love um, touching the VWAP at least once a day, especially SPY. Okay, let's see. So we already crossed over in the 5 minute. We opened ever so slightly above here. You want to start training your eye for that. I don't like it. Straight point blank period, especially how we're buying up this level. And so those are little things where you have to like learn like those sniper entries. If it had opened below here, it would have been game time. This one did open below, um, but I don't like how it opened. So you gotta clean your eye to this weight a little bit. I don't like. I don't like how it goes there. That's dirty. And so, but let's look at it this way, right? So on the 1 hour, it's still okay. Let me just get on the 1 hour. We're approaching 1 hour for market open, and we could have a reverse off. All right, so we can let's look at the 30 minute. 30 minute we had to open, so this is good. We opened below the VWAP here. This looks good on 30 minutes. That looks good. Okay. I would say, like how we opened below here, we can look for 100 to be hit. I like what I'm seeing there. Let's see the 15 on here. Same thing. We're just kind of trying to see the support, but we can probably expect the 100 level to be hit here. It's looking good. Okay. Make sure my volume is on, because sometimes, yeah, we're good. Alright. Yeah, so here it goes. Five's gonna, and then let's see if CPC follows suit. We do have sell-off across all three. IWM is taking a tank as well. Taking a tanking as well. Alright, there we go. See what it does in the next 10 minutes. And so the goal is as long as it stays below this 4 will get you out of the trade much quicker. But some people wait, for confirmation or for chemicals. As long as you stay below this 8 and the VWAP, the 15-minute downside is still active. I do like that we did open below here. And remember, I did talk about how the reason I moved this down, this is ever so slightly down here, is because there was a gap up, and I didn't want us to get into orders, because I think it was like right here or something, the 4 hour put level. But the gap up is like orders to the upside, and so I wanted to make sure that we close below here and we invalidate that gap order to the upside for us to get, and so then it's going to pay off, because if we can be patient and wait for some type of confirmation below this 4 hour put level, we have a gap down here. I mean, it's a ways down, but this is where it's definitely going to pay off, to be patient and wait. Let's see what happens here in the next 15. Oh, we're going to be at the top of the hour, or half an hour. So let's just look at the 30 minute here. and see what we do in relation to the VWAP and the 4 and the 8 in 10 seconds. And then let's do the same thing here. I'm not even looking at IWM. I'm not even looking at IWM. Okay, there we go. So we opened below VWAP. It's going to want to touch VWAP and at least the 4. And so this is just going to be a matter of distinction. Let's see if they go pick up some more bears on the 1 hour. Let's just go see what they do with the bears on the 1 hour. Beautiful sell-off here off of the 4. Immediate sell-off on SPY. And you know what? Let's just keep it on the 15-minute. I'm going to stop hopping around a little bit because we did stay below the 4. So you can, for those of you that are in it, you can continue to hold. Don't like that we opened above the stop losses on QQQ. I don't like that at all. Here we opened right around the stop losses. And now you can see the buyers stepping in here. I think I'm definitely just going to close that one trade today. And I did 6% of my account. And I did 2 trades. QQQ, I'm going to put that here because, baby, I'm so proud of myself. I'm going to put a heart. And I like how we're in that down below here. I would say it's just get 5-minute closes below this. So we keep buying back at that level, but I want to see like a 5-minute. It's going to dump. I'm just going to flush in that last half an hour. So then this is where you start to look at like the 1 minute. You do have crap to the downside. Yep, we got that breakout to the downside. There we go. Beautiful. Got that to the downside. Let's see what happens in the second. It's still opened. Oh yeah, we opened below the 4 hour on the put, so we're going down, baby. Ah, it's liquidating them. Let's just see, like, see how they're trying to turn this into support, and it's right at that 50% level. But if we can kind of try to hold below here, same thing for SPY. We just activated the 4 hour puts on QQQ. Let me see if I can get a tiny scalp in there. Let me see. Too late for me. I'm just another minute. But yeah, we just activated the 4 hour put right here. So SPY just hitting 100%. And the 15-minute. Okay. We just activated 4 hour put. Let's look at the 4 hour chart. Make sure we're not. Ooh, look at that. What are we trying to do here? So it's at 30% level. And I'm careful because we have previously low here that we could try to buy off of. Let's just see if we. Oh, I'm a little nervous. 691. The second one has good. Ooh. Ooh, 5 minute put entry on IWM. Do with that what thou wilt. Ooh, it already hit 100% on IWM. It's definitely flushed down to something there. Let's see what this means for the 15 minutes. Did it hit? I hit 100%. So there should be a little bit of taking profit there. That's just between that little hesitation. Just a little hesitation. If I start to feel like really nervous and stuff like that, I just respect it. I'm already two trades in and green, and I don't want to give profit back, especially on something like QQQ. Once this hits 100%, and especially like for how I told you guys, this is the buy level, don't chase this. And it moves so quickly. Woohoo! Fine, QQQ gave us 100% baby. I think what I would wait for here is like a retest of this level, and then I would entertain some puts here at retest of this level, and then expect a full like roaring pullback at 50%. The other thing that kind of made me cautious was this previously low. I treat it like a bounce, and so because it's a weekly, it's like a stronger rubber band. Look at that. We're just buying up that level. Aren't we glad we waited? Aren't we glad we waited? There's that 100% pullback, snapback, anything here with 15%. God. So technically, we should all be done for today, right? No point of FOMO. We are 1 hour out from market open, and there's that reversal. There's that reversal. Wicked. I think I'm gonna close out for today. They gave what needed to be gave. I'm gonna come back tomorrow. I'm gonna keep it here. Um, it might give you a little bit more downside. The thing is, so did I leave you guys on the 15 minute? No, I think I'm gonna leave you on the 1 hour. And you can see that. I want you guys to see this. Yeah, this is gonna be important for you to see. So if we break below here, then you can look for more downside. But this, yeah, buying up the value of the right here. We've already hit 100%. And so at this point, I wouldn't say it's invalid. I would just say we have satisfied enough price that it. And for 1 hour from here on out, can give you a better idea of entry. It's so evident. Here we're below previous week low, right? Here we're above previous week low, so they're buying up. You might get a little bit of divergence here. Previous week low, including the 1 day, just the 1 day buy level. Um, I would not entertain puts on IWM unless it's below here. Point blank period. don't like how it opened like especially for bullish. These are all bears right here, but this is the 1 day. So once we invalidate this and come below here, we open below VWAP here. I'm gonna take a break. What time is it? Yeah, so this is what I'm not really ready. I feel like I'm stressing myself out. Okay, there's one here. Alright, you guys have a good one.